So once again, good afternoon all students. And today we will be continuing with the chapter discussion which was going on. That is the cell, the fundamental unit of life. So now till yesterday, till our last class, among the cell organelles, we were able to complete the mitochondria. We have done the mitochondria in our last class, the endoplasmic reticulum. Now, before going into the discussion of today's class, which we will be beginning with the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi complex, I would like to ask a brief, or we can say, recapitulation of the last day workout, so that I would be able to conclude how much you have incorporated from the last class. Now, I am asking a question to you all. You will simply raise your hand so that I will unmute you. That is, what is membrane biogenesis? These questions are from the last day discussion. What is membrane biogenesis? Okay, first Saloni raised her hand. Okay, Saloni, you can unmute yourself. Saloni, yes. What is membrane biogenesis?
The lipid and protein produced by endoplasmic reticulum helps in the formation of cell wall. This phenomenon is known as membrane biogenesis.
Very good. Correct. That is, we are knowing the function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It helps in the manufacturing of the lipids, while the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is associated with the ribosome, help in the production of the proteins. So we can say the endoplasmic reticulum, which ultimately produces the lipids and the proteins, can be, or we can say is being utilized in the manufacturing of the cell membrane, as because we know that the cell membrane is a lipid bilayer and it consists of the lipid and the proteins. So we will be saying this process of the formation of the cell membrane with the help of the proteins and the lipid which the endoplasmic reticulum produces is called the membrane biogenesis. Again, this is very significant term, students, as I already told you in the last class. Now, before going into further discussion, one more question to you all from the last class, that is, which molecule is called the energy currency of the cell and why? Which molecule? Okay, Shripati raised his hand. Okay, Shripati, unmute yourself. Yes, Shripati, you can unmute yourself.
Sir, ATP is called energy currency of the cell.
And why?
It is produced by mitochondria, which is also known as powerhouse of cell, and the energy needed for various life processes are provided by mitochondria.
Okay,
in the form of
okay. Energy currency of the cell, that is a ATP. It is called the energy currency of the cell because it produces energy and that will be required for the various life processes. Okay, students. So this was a brief discussion of yesterday's class. And now today we are going to discuss the next cell organelle, which is the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi complex. Now, first of all, student, let me show you the diagrams. Of the Golgi apparatus. Now, this very image of the Golgi apparatus. You can see, students, these are the membrane-bound vesicles or the sac-like structures, which is called cisternae. Okay, so the Golgi apparatus, or we can say the Golgi complex, consists of a set of membrane-bound fluid-filled vesicles. It may be vacuoles and the flattened cisternae, which are the closed sac. This Golgi apparatus was discovered in 1898 by Italian physician Camillo Golgi, and the sac or the fold of the Golgi apparatus is called cisternae. You can see in this image also, that is, these are the secretory vesicles. The secretory vesicles are there. The cis and the trans phase are there. This depends on the cis and the trans phase depends upon that which side faces the nucleus. These are the incoming transport vesicles. This is the lumen of the cisternae, or we can say the lumen of the vesicle which it contains. So when we were doing the diagram of the endoplasmic reticulum, that time also I told you regarding this, that how the Golgi apparatus looks like. It is a, we can say, the sac or the membrane bound tubular structure. Okay. Now, if we are talking about the function of the Golgi apparatus, the Golgi apparatus has been likened to be the cell's post office. Why? Because a major function is the modifying, sorting, and packaging of the proteins for secretion. That means it helps in the modification and then packaging of the proteins, and it is involved in the transportation of the lipids around the cell and the formation of the very important organelle, that is the lysosome. Okay, is it clear to all? Is it clear to all? Okay. Okay. So all of you, regarding the structure of the Golgi apparatus, all of you, you can write down. You can write down regarding the structure of the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is a disc-shaped organelle. The Golgi apparatus is a disc-shaped organelle. Up to mitochondria, we have made you written in the class also. So now the organelle which we will be doing, I will make you write also now. So you can write down in the structure of the Golgi apparatus. You will give, you will write the topic Golgi apparatus and then structure. The Golgi apparatus is the disc-shaped organelle consisting of membrane-bound vesicles, consisting of membrane-bound vesicles arranged approximately parallel to each other, in stacks called cisternae. Okay. So students, this is about the structure and the function of the Golgi apparatus. Now the next cell organelle which we will be discussing is the lysosome. Students, in class 8, you must have done lysosome. Why we remember the lysosome, or how we remember the lysosome as one of the important cell organelle? How do we remember lysosome? What peculiar feature? Because in class 8 also, the cell, a brief account you all have done. Okay, Jyoti raised her hand. You can unmute yourself, Jyoti.
Yes, sir. So lysosome is called a suicidal bag of the cell.
Very good.
It helps in killing the bacteria.
Okay. I just only wanted to know that what is the special name given to it, and you have said very correctly that it is a suicidal bag of the cell. Why it is a suicidal bag of the cell, that we will discuss now. So the lysosome are the spherical sac-like structure. Students, here I would like to actually the diagram of the lysosome I will be doing freehand. And you will be seeing the diagram of the lysosome is also very simple. Let me do that. It's very simple diagram. You can see the membrane. Let me on the outer side of the membrane, there are like this, the membrane proteins. This rounded structure on the top are the transport proteins. Let me, yes, show this. Yes. And within the so a very simplified, the lysosome has a very simplified image. The lysosome has a very simplified image. Now, regarding the labelings, this blue color on the top of the membrane, this red color, definitely this is the membrane. Just let me, this is the membrane. Just a moment. Just a moment. Yes. This is a membrane. Then the next part, just a moment. The two more labelings are there. This one, let me first, and this one. Now, this part is the your transport protein. This part is the transport protein. And the next part or the last part, you can see hydrolytic enzyme. Okay, so these three are the most important labeling for the lysosome. You can see it is a membrane bound vesicle, and on the top of the membrane you have the transport protein. And when we are talking about the, as you said that it is a suicidal bag, why the lysosome is called the suicidal bag? Because the hydrolytic enzyme which it contains, and definitely the cell get damaged with the lysosome burst and the enzyme digests their own cell. So they destroy the foreign particles, but the lysosome, after destroying the foreign particle, they digest their own cell. And that is why it is called the suicidal bag. So this is the structure of the lysosome. Now, as we are talking about, the lysosome are the small spherical sac-like structure which contain several digestive enzymes enclosed in a membrane. They are definitely found in the eukaryotic cells And what is the function? If we are talking about the function of the lysosome, the lysosome help in digestion of the foreign substance and worn out cell organelle. This they do with the help of the hydrolytic enzyme which they contain. And during the disturbance in cellular metabolism, when the cell get damaged, the lysosome burst and the enzyme digests their own cell. And that is why they are called the suicidal bag. Okay. Is it clear to all the students? Is it clear to all the students regarding the lysosome? Okay, fine. Yes, I got the feedback. Okay. Yes. So let me ask any one of the student. Okay, Priyal Gupta, 1 minute. Just a moment. Yes, Priyal, this question is for you. I think, okay, she has lost the connectivity. Okay, then Safia Anam. Safia, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Safia, why the lysosome is called the suicidal bag of the cell?
Because it contains digestive enzymes.
Only for that it is called as a suicidal bag? Or what is the special feature of this digestive enzyme? Is there any peculiar feature of this digestive enzyme? That's why the name suicidal bag has been given to it. Is there any special feature?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who can try? Who else can answer this question? Though Safia said correctly, okay, Shripati raised his hand. You can unmute yourself, Shripati.
Lysosomes are called saddle bag of the cell because when the cell get damaged, lysosome burst and enzymes digest their own cell.
Yes, mainly we have to say that after the digesting the foreign particle, it digests its own cell. And that is why it is called the suicidal bag. Okay, fine. So this, the lysosome and the Golgi apparatus also we have done. The next cell organelle which we will be doing is, now, one very important thing regarding the ribosomes. Okay, you can see the next part which we are going to do. The ribosome, students, before going into the detail of the ribosome, you know very well the function of the ribosome. Now, they are definitely the function of the ribosome. Student, quickly you can say to me what is the function of the ribosome. They are associated with which mechanism of the, or we can say, okay. Yes. Okay, Saloni, just a moment. Okay, Saloni, you can unmute yourself as you have raised your hand quickly.
Yes, sir.
Saloni, what is the function of the ribosome? How do we remember the ribosome?
Sir, ribosomes are attached with the endoplasmic reticulum, and it helps for synthesis of the protein.
Definitely, we have to remember ribosome as a site for protein synthesis. So the ribosomes are extremely small, dense, and spherical bodies which occur freely in the matrix or remain attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. So here, once again, we are going back to the diagram of the endoplasmic reticulum, which in our last class also we have done. And here in this diagram, you can clearly see how the ribosomes are associated with the endoplasmic reticulum. You can see, look to this part, which I have highlighted. This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is called rough because of the association of the ribosome with it. And here you can very well see how the ribosomes, which appear as a particular or particles type are attached with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So now and the ribosomes are made up of ribonucleic acid, which is a RNA. Student, we have during the discussion of the nucleus, I said you about the genetic material. There are two genetic materials, DNA and the RNA. The function or the full form of the DNA we did when we have done the nucleus, that is the deoxyribonucleic acid. And RNA is also the genetic material found in many organisms, for example, the viruses also. So the RNA, which is a genetic material, the full form is ribonucleic acid. And definitely the ribosomes, they are helpful in the protein synthesis. If we look to the structure, see how the ribosomes are present. This globular shaped, this is a free ribosome. This is the free ribosomes. These are the free ribosomes which are not associated. And you can see here, this part is the endoplasmic reticulum and the ribosomes get attached with it. So the ribosomes are the, definitely we will be saying the ribosomes are the cell's protein factories. Remember student, these short forms, or we can say the major name or the other name of the cell organelle, you should always remember, as we have said, lysosome is called suicidal bag. If you are saying which cell organelle is shoe-shaped, what will be the answer? Through the chat box, you give me the reply. Which cell organelle is shoe-shaped? Which cell organelle is shoe-shaped cell organelle? Very good, Jyoti, very good. It's a mitochondria, very good. Which cell organelle is called powerhouse of cell? Which cell organelle is called powerhouse of cell? Very good. Mitochondria, again the answer. Which cell organelle is called, or which part of the cell is called the brain of the cell? Which part of the cell is called brain of the cell? Very good. Nucleus, correct answer. And definitely if we will say which part of the cell are known as the protein factories, so definitely your answer will be the ribosome. So always remember student this part. The other name you should always remember because it can be asked in the examination also. This we have already done. Now, a very important organelle, that is plastids. The plastids definitely present exclusively in the plant cell and absent altogether in the animal cells. Now, the plastid, like the mitochondria, have their own DNA and the ribosome. Remember student, this is also a very important question for the examination purpose, that which cell organelle have their own DNA and the ribosomes. And the answer is the mitochondria and the plastids. Okay. So this is a very important question for your examination purpose. So what is a plastid? Definitely, I will be showing you the image of the plastid. You see, no need for the going to for the internal labelings. You can see here the actually the plastids are of three types. One is called the chloroplast, which is responsible for the green color, chromoplast, which is colored, and leucoplast, that is a colorless plastids. The plastids are definitely the spherical or discoidal in shape and double membrane bound organelles. As I told you, they have their own DNA and the ribosome. And there are three types of plastid. Chloroplast, which is giving you in the plant the green color as it contains the chlorophyll. The chromoplast, they are, except the green color, they will be giving the different colors. Leucoplast, these are the colorless plastids. Now, the plastid, One very important thing about the plastid is that the plastid are called the kitchen of the cell. Remember, students, this is very important part, that the plastids are called the kitchen of the cell. Why they are called the kitchen of the cell? Because the chloroplast traps solar energy and utilize it to manufacture food for the plant. The chromoplast impart various colors to flowers to attract the insects for pollination. And what does the leucoplast do? The leucoplasts perform biosynthetic function such as synthesis of the fatty acid, amino acid, and various other compounds, and storage of starch, lipids, or protein. So definitely the three types of the plastids have the three different roles. The chloroplast has the role in photosynthesis, the chromoplast attract the insect for pollination, and the leucoplast act as a storage of the lipids or the protein. Here one term again has come to you all, that is a pollination. Who can tell me what is pollination? Quickly raise your hand. What is pollination? Okay. Shripati and Saloni. Okay, Saloni, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
You can unmute yourself.
Sir,
go ahead with the answer.
So the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is called pollination.
Okay, the transfer of the pollen grain from anther to stigma is called pollination. Correct. Very good. Well said. This is because this term and this process is required for the sexual reproduction in case of the flowering plant, and the detail of which also we have to do. And in class 10, definitely we have a chapter on this, that is a reproduction, both in the plant and the human being. So there we will be doing this part also in detail. But for the now, definitely the pollination is the process of the transfer of the pollen from anther to stigma. Anther is the anther and filament. These two are the part of the stamen, which is the male reproductive part, and the stigma is the female reproductive part of the flower. Okay. So, okay. Just a moment. Yes. So students, here I would like to ask you again one question. Why the chloroplast, why the plastid is called the kitchen of the cell? The chloroplast, why the chloroplast is called the kitchen of the cell? Okay, Jyoti again raised her hand. Okay, you can unmute yourself, Jyoti.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Jyoti. Chloroplast. Okay. Yes, Jyoti, you have sent in the chat box. Yes, I will be sending you these materials also. I'll be sending you. Okay. Is it okay, Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now, after this, the vacuole. You can see, students, the vacuole. I'll be first showing you the image. Okay. This is the image of the vacuole. Vacuole are the empty spaces present both in the plant and the animal cell. But the difference is that the plant vacuoles are larger and many in number, but the animal vacuoles are fewer and also small in size. If we are saying about the vacuole structural details, these are the liquid or solid filled and membrane bound organelles. In plant cell, the vacuoles are large and permanent, while in animal cell, the vacuole are small in size and temporary. In mature plant cell, it occupies 90% of the space of the cell volume. And about the functions, it helps maintaining the osmotic pressure, provide rigidity and the rigidity to the plant cell. Students, have you heard about a term buoyancy? Let me write it. Have you heard about the term buoyancy? Have you heard about this term buoyancy, which I have written on the screen, buoyancy? Okay, through the chat box, you send me the reply. Okay, Jyoti said no. Okay, one common observation which you have, you might have seen, but you have not thought on that. If suppose if suppose a wooden block is thrown in water, does it float or it sinks? Does it float or it just subside, sink? What happens to the wooden block? Yes, yes, Shripati, that I will do, definitely. Yes, Shripati, I will do that. As I told you, okay. Student, okay, some of you. A wooden block, okay, a wooden block if thrown, a wooden piece thrown in the water, does it goes inside the water or it floats? Yes, you have given the correct answer. It floats. It is due to, this is called the buoyancy, okay? And it floats because of these vacuoles, the empty spaces in the plants, which do not allow these parts to get submerged or immersed inside the water. So definitely the vacuoles are helping in maintaining the turgidity and the rigidity, and it also help in maintaining the osmotic pressure. Okay, so just a moment, let me. Okay. So students, with this, we have come to the end of the cell organelles, and your assignment today definitely will be practicing the diagram of Golgi apparatus, the lysosome, and also their functional aspect also you have to do.